with some heartbreaking news, and that is one of the best linebackers to ever play in the National Football League. He played for the Chicago Bears. Dick Butkus has passed away at the age of 80. Howard, I'll just start with your kind of memories and your conversations that you had with Dick Butkus.
Yeah, it's tough whenever, one of the greats of the past is lost, especially, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, of course, was enshrined in 1979. And, just had a few conversations with him over the years, not that many. I mean, he began his career when I was still a teenager, so I'm not quite that old. But still, the first thing that anyone thinks of that saw him play and, remembers, those days of the NFL were the classic middle linebackers. Mm-hmm. When the NFL glorified hitting hard and they just played all that stuff. Now, of course, it's all about, hey, we got to be safe. But he was from that era with the Ray Nitschkes and Sam Huff and, guys like that just, were a big part of what the NFL game was back then. So it's always tough when you lose guys, and but he's a big part, obviously, of the history of the NFL and what helped grow this game to where it is now.
Another one that we lost as well too, and I played against a couple times, was Russ Francis, former tight end for the Patriots when I was in Buffalo. Played against him several times, and he's in San Francisco. And I got to tell you what, talking about a guy that somewhat changed the position. You think of Kellen Winslow, you think of Russ Francis. Prior to Winslow and I coming out in '79, I mean, as far as running, blocking, being a go-to tight end, he kind of transformed that tight end position as well.
Yeah, he was a part of the beginning of that, and then of course like you said, it became big time with Kellen Winslow, Ozzie Newsome, and, guys like that. Where these days, the quote tight ends are more almost wide receivers than tight ends, and not that many guys are the great receivers and blockers anymore. But Russ Francis was both. He was that type of complete tight end, and a guy who I was talking to some people who knew him well in the Bay Area, and said that he passed the way he always did things. He was kind of a risk taker. He always did things a little bit out of the norm, and here passed in a crash of a private plane. So like I said, always tough when you lose guys, and especially guys. I'll tell you, when you get up a little bit in years, and then you hear someone who passed, let's say like Butkus, like the age of 80, and you go, wow, that's a pretty complete life, 80 years old. And then I start thinking where I am, and I go, gosh, I'm not that far from that.
Sure.
So it's kind of an eye opener in that point. Again, it just shows that you have to cherish every moment that you have.
You're absolutely right about that. Howard Balzer is our guest, and you can read his great material at PHNX. Great stuff. All right, let's go then to the game on Sunday. Right now, the Cincinnati Bengals, 1-3, struggling, and Joe Burrow has come out and stated, I feel the best that I have felt since I started practice, and they are scraping for a road victory. In your estimation, do the Bengals get it, or do the Cardinals find a way to win?
I think it's very possible the Cardinals find a way, and I'll tell you one thing: the betting public feels that, because this game opened as a 7-point line, even after the Bengals had lost by 24 to the Titans on the road, and the Cardinals, of course, game it was a little out of hand early, but they fought back and then ended up losing by the 19. Opened at 7, it's now like 3 points. So what that shows is a lot of the betting public is betting on the Cardinals, and that's why that line keeps coming down and down and down, because those who run those sports books, they want bets on both sides. And so this is a big, obviously it's a big game for the Bengals, a team that many thought was Super Bowl caliber. A lot of that is on Joe Burrow. He's had that calf injury that it's taken him a while to get over. Like you said, he says he's the healthiest he's felt in a long time. He does have an injured receiver in T. Higgins, so we'll see if he's able to get back on track. But I think that this Cardinal team, the one thing about them, they are 1-3, obviously, like the old line. You are what your record says you are. But this is a pretty confident team. They have a lot of belief in themselves, and they're shorthanded in a lot of areas, especially on that defense with some of the injuries that they've had. But I expect them to come out and play a very, very tough game against this team. And so, me, I hate to make predictions, but I think the Cardinals have a heck of a shot of winning this game and sending the Bengals to a very unexpected 1-4 record.
Howard, I think for a lot of us folks, I think the expectations there for a lot of us to see the Cardinals win this game with a downtrodden Cincinnati Bengals team. But in desperate teams at desperate measures, all kind of things can happen. And to that point, when you look back at the Cardinals' last two games, especially the 49ers game, and you saw them beat the Cowboys and you lose to the 49ers, what has Jonathan Gannon and his staff figured out or brought to the table after these first 4 games of the season?
I think, guys, and it sounds cliched a little bit, but I think the biggest thing that they've brought is staying the course, keep doing what you're doing. Don't make radical changes and start changing what your plan is or what you want the team to be because you've lost some games. And I think that the players are buying into that. I mean, Gannon, like I said, it sounds like a cliche. He talks about the process all the time. And he said, and the players talk about it also. He says, we are on the right track. They all have that belief. They all have that confidence. And so I think that consistency, that, following the plan is what he and his coaching staff have brought to this team. And it's certainly there to see. I mean, heck, with the offense, I mean, look at the guys that are out there and, putting together an offensive line. And of course, with a quarterback, as we all know the story there with Joshua Dobbs. And, this Cardinal team, they haven't had a turnover in the last 3 games. And Josh Dobbs is one of only 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that hasn't thrown an interception. So, they're playing that kind of clean football. And when you do that, you have a chance. That's the main thing. And I think that's what this team believes, in itself. Hollywood Brown has started to make an impact. Michael Wilson, obviously, we have seen. And so I think you go out in this game and, again, don't make mistakes, perhaps be able to force some the other way. And who knows? I mean, they might be able to, to come up with another one. But I'll tell you one thing. Before the season started, I don't know that anyone would have even had any thought in their mind that this would be a game that the Cardinals could possibly win. Not that you think they will, but could possibly win. And I think that shows that the way this team is playing is in the vision of what Jonathan Gannon wants, and he's going to continue along that way no matter what happens on the win-loss side.
It's interesting that you just pointed that out, the progress that this team has made and the opportunity to get a win against a team that, as you referenced, most people thought was going to be a Super Bowl contender. Howard, if you were going to make a choice, I'll give you 15 seconds. Are you going Cardinals all the way, or does Cincinnati pull this one out?
I say the Cardinals are going to have find a way to win. I'll tell you one concern I have, and this will really talk about details going in the weeds. The Cardinals made a change at punter this week, right? Yep. And all anybody talks about is it'll be a new punter. Well, it also means it's a new holder for Matt Prater.
Yes.
In the whole kicking operation. So you just hope that something doesn't happen of a negative on what could be a crucial field goal or a crucial kick at some point in the game, because we know how many of the games in this league, are close games. So, but the punter that they signed is, he's had experience the last 2 years with the Saints doing it, but that's a whole lot different than having 3 days of practice and getting out there and, working on where Matt Prater likes the ball on these snaps. So, hopefully that doesn't become a difference in the game. But yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. I really believe that. And what the heck? I'm going to pick the Cardinals to win.
Okay, fair enough, pal. Thank you. Great stuff as always. Have a good weekend.
You too, guys. Take care.
There you go. Howard Balzer, PHNX. He is their lead NFL football writer covering the Cardinals. All right, when we come back here at Twin Peaks, we will indeed have our football at 50, our Learner and Row 1 call. That's all. And we will update you as well.